Guys, coming into me another movie review for guys, and finally, I have reviewed the movie that I know all of you have wanted me to review. You guys probably been like, where's your review for this movie? Where's your review for this movie? Where's your review for this movie? I just haven't gotten a chance to see this movie till now. I've been very busy, I've had things going on in my life, and I just haven't had the time to see it. And, I've been watching a lot of movies, in that time, but I just didn't really have the time to watch it. And finally, I have seen that movie, and it's a movie that really doesn't need introduction, but I'm gonna give it one anyway. Of course, that is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Obviously, I was hyped out of my mind for this movie. I mean, who wasn't excited for Star Wars: The Force Awakens? And I was so excited for it, and I know that you guys were probably upset that I didn't review the first 6 films. I really wanted to, guys. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I was actually planning on it. I was planning on reviewing the first 6 films. I didn't have the time, okay? Things just got a lot more complicated in my life, and I had less time than I thought I would, and unfortunately, I just didn't get a chance to. However, I will definitely review those 6 films before the 8th film comes out. I definitely will say that. But Star Wars: The Force Awakens was a movie I was looking forward to, mainly because I didn't really know what it was going to be. Obviously, they kept it so hidden, they kept everything so ambiguous. They didn't tell you what was going to happen in this movie, which is something that I loved, and I really didn't know what we were getting into, and that just, in general, really intrigued me. And it could have let me down. It really could have. I mean, I tried to go into this film. I was obviously really excited. I mean, how can you not be excited for Star Wars? Star Wars is something where you can't just not be excited for it. You can't be like, oh, I was hyped up too much. It's Star Wars. You should be excited for it. That's just how it is. And luckily, not only did I think Star Wars: Force Awakens was a great Star Wars movie, I really feel it's a masterpiece and a real return to the franchise, definitely. I love pretty much everything about this movie. By far one of the best films of the year. Will definitely be in my top 10 list. And also, some of the most fun I've had watching any film this year. Now, because they kept details so secret in the trailer, I'm gonna try to keep things as secret as possible. There will be spoilers in this review towards the end. Of course, I'm going to give spoilers, because there are a lot of things I really want to talk about that are the most interesting things about the movie, and I can't talk about them unless I talk spoilers. So, I will talk spoilers at the end of this review. But, essentially, a plot of this movie, it basically takes place roughly 30 years after Return of the Jedi, and basically, the world has now been divided into, they're basically two separate groups. There is the First Order, which is this group that descended from the Galactic Empire, ruled by Kylo Ren, and then there's the Resistance, which is this group that's obviously against the First Order. They're basically the good guys, and we follow these characters, Rey, Finn and Poe basically try to stand up against Kylo Ren for something that he wants to do, and that's really all I'm going to say, because that's really all the movie, tells you, and that's something I really loved. And, even the crawl text in general reveals to you right away what this movie's gonna be. And I really do appreciate the fact that we didn't really know what this movie was gonna be, so there wasn't anything that we were disappointed by, and I definitely really loved that about the movie. That's one of the best things about it by far. However, one of the things I love the most about Star Wars: Force Awakens is that it's a character-driven story. So a lot of this is due in part to the acting in this film, which is absolutely fantastic. Everyone really does give a great performance in this movie, and I just loved everyone in this movie. Now our main characters in this film are surprisingly not the returnees from the trilogy. They're in the movie. They are an essential part of this movie. All 3 of them are. I'm not going to say in what way, just because I don't want to spoil it, but they're not the main focus. Our main focus are our 2 main characters, Rey and Finn, like the trailer suggested. And they both are great, especially Daisey Ridley as Rey. She is just the perfect hero in this movie. I mean, she's the perfect heroine, and I just loved everything about her character. First of all, I really appreciate the fact that they got someone that we don't really know, so it's not like we know this person and are worried that they're not going to be able to just play this character. But no, she got in this character of Rey perfectly. Rey is so different from Luke Skywalker. She's very mysterious. She lives on this planet, Jakku, and we don't really know too much about her. She doesn't really know much about herself. She's finding out things about herself, and, I just really thought she was a very interesting character. There were a lot of things they did with her that I really loved, and I really thought she was just a great heroine. She was a badass as well. I mean, she's a character that doesn't take any prisoners. She's not looking for a love interest. That is not what she is there for, and, she does not need saving. She's not a character that needs saving. She does the saving, and I love that about her character. She really did an amazing job. John Boyega as Finn was so great in this movie. Personally, my favorite part of this movie, I think, was Finn. I just loved his character. Yes, Rey is the best character in this film, but Finn, to me, stole the show. John Boyega just seemed like he was having, like, the most fun of everyone. Honestly, if I had to pick the character that I think was having the most fun, it would be John Boyega. He just did a great job as his character of Finn. First of all, I loved his character in general. I was very intrigued by his character because this is a character that's a stormtrooper and suddenly isn't a stormtrooper anymore. Something with him, you know, that he sees or happens very early in the film, it just doesn't sit right with him. He doesn't feel it's right what he's doing, so he leaves. And I really loved about his character. But the best thing about Finn is that he is a character that thinks he knows what's going on and he really doesn't. And a lot of the best part of this movie is the banter between him and Han Solo. It is hilarious, and he was so great in this movie. He was also a really great character in general. There's a lot going on that I definitely really love, and I can't wait till they explore his character further in the other movies, because he really did a great job here. Definitely loved his character. Oscar Isaac as Poe was also awesome. First of all, there definitely is a bromance going on between Finn and Poe. I mean, if you guys thought Luke Skywalker and Han Solo had a bromance, that is nothing compared to Finn and Poe. These two are so close, and it was pretty funny. I definitely loved their bonding in the movie. It was something I definitely really enjoyed. And Poe's a character that's very experienced. He's the best pilot in the galaxy. He just knows what he's doing, and he loves saving people. That's really Poe's character. He loves saving people. He loves helping people out. It's his job. He's very passionate about it, and I really thought he did a great job. These three characters as a whole really did a great job with the movie, and I all thought they were fantastic. Now, let's get to the, of course, alumni of the film. Obviously, Harrison Ford is amazing as Han Solo. I mean, my theater had uproarious applause when he arrived. I have never heard louder applause in a movie in my life when I did for Han Solo. He was incredible in this movie. He really was. I mean, the thing about Han Solo is that yes, he's definitely changed. Yes, he's experienced, but he's still Han Solo. They didn't make him seem like old man Solo. That's not what he is at all. And but I'd never call him Solo. This is not a guy that he wants to call him Solo. Like I said, something I loved about him the most is that the whole time he's having all this banter with Finn, because Finn thinks he understands things, but then you have Han who's just experienced a lot more things, and a lot of what Han's experienced really went well with this movie. I definitely thought he did a very good job. I loved how he's not like Obi-Wan. Really, he's not. You guys may think he is kind of like an Obi-Wan character, but that really is not the direction they took him in at all, and I really love it. I think he really did a great job here. Carrie Fisher was obviously great in this movie, and there's a very interesting subplot going on between her and Han that I cannot talk about because it's a huge spoiler in the film that I will talk about when we get to spoilers. Mark Hamill is in this movie. That's all I'm going to say, because I can't tell you in what capacity, I can't tell you what he does in this movie, just because they didn't show a single bit of him in the trailer, except for, well, I don't know, I don't think they show him in the trailer, at least, I don't think they did, and I can't really talk about him here. Who really impressed me, though, was Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is by far one of the best villains I've seen all year, maybe better, honestly. I think better than Immortan Joe, honestly. Immortan Joe was a great villain by Max Furio, but Kylo Ren, the thing about Kylo Ren is his motivation. This is not someone that's trying to be better than Darth Vader. He's not. In fact, he's motivated by Darth Vader, and he really is kind of, he really is a character that he's very menacing, he's very mysterious, and I really loved about Kylo Ren. Adam Driver really portrayed this character to perfection. Just in this first movie, I already think I get a sense of who Kylo Ren is, and they really did a great job with him. He's a very unpredictable character as well. He will have a lot of outbursts, which they did play for laughs, and I like that they did that, and, the other thing I like about his character is that you actually do understand him. You understand why he is the way he is and why he is, why he is going after the Resistance. There's a specific reason why that I'm not going to get into, and I definitely really love it about his character. I think he did a great job, and he definitely was really great in this movie. Lupita Nyong'o was really great as Maj. She was very funny. And Andy Serkis as well, as Supreme Leader Snoke. I really thought did a great job at kind of like a passing of the torch of the Emperor. I really thought he was very good in this movie. He was very powerful, and a lot of his manipulation with Kylo Ren was really interesting, but they did it in a way where it was different from Darth Vader and the Emperor, and I definitely really loved that. I think he definitely did a great job. Of course, it's great to see Chewie and C-3PO and all them back. They all are back in this movie, which I'm so happy they basically got everyone back that they could in this movie, and overall, everyone just did a great job. The entire cast was fantastic, and I really thought they all were great. I also love the character of BB-8. BB-8 is a great character. I can't, again, talk about why, but he really is a great character. So yeah, by far one of the strongest parts of this movie is the acting. But the thing I think that worked the most in this movie, and the thing that most people were worried about was, actually, no, I don't think anyone was really worried about the directing here, because J.J. Abrams just knows Star Wars so well, and he's a big fan of Star Wars. He knows what works, he knows what doesn't work, and this is a very good example of that. And I think he really directed this movie perfectly. I think he was very good with directing this movie, masterfully directed. Because what he did was, a lot of people have said, oh, this movie's trying to be like A New Hope, it's trying to be like A New Hope. It's really not like A New Hope, I don't think. I don't think this is really like the original. I think it retains elements from the original, but what you have to do is, don't think about the fact that it's copying from the original. Sit and think, is that really what the film needs? At the end of the day, if the film retains elements from the original, and it's just because the story needed that, well, good. The story needed that. It works with the story. But what I love about his direction is that he basically went full-fledged with this movie. I mean, he made this a action movie. It's funny at times. The tone really flipped around. It was just a really fun movie overall. It's one thing I love about Star Wars, that it was a fun movie. It really was. I mean, it was dark, yes, but there were some scenes that are just so fun, and I was into it the whole time. He really did a great job of his directing, and by far one of the best things about the movie. The screenplay here, though, really is just so well thought out, honestly. Very well thought out, and mainly because of the fact that many people might not have thought we needed this movie. A lot of people probably sat and thought, do we really need Star Wars The Force Awakens? I mean, Return of the Jedi was a suitable conclusion. Did we really need this film? Yes. This movie explains why we needed this film. This movie shows why these characters are just as important as our original leads, and they were so great in the movie that I was fine with some of the original leads not having as much to do in the movie. I also liked how less is more. I mean, that really is one of the messages of this movie. I know many people have said that, but I'm going to agree with that because of the fact that they don't show everything you want them to in this movie. There are going to be people that go to this movie and be like, oh, they didn't show that. Well, that's a good thing they didn't show that, because they're keeping you around for the next two movies, and I think they really did that very, very well, and I really like that. And they only really revealed what they needed to, but did enough to make this story and characters as compelling as possible. And I like that they didn't reveal a lot of things. There are still a lot of details that they have to reveal, and I really love that. The story overall I found to be extremely interesting, extremely gripping. I really loved it, and there's some great lines in this movie, definitely some amazing scenes, probably some of the best scenes of the year I've seen in this film, really, and I was really just loving all of it. There are tie-ins, definitely, like I said, there are tie-ins to the original, but I really felt it as more of a passing of the torch and less of just, oh, we're trying to be like the original. That's not really how I saw it as. I didn't see it as they're trying to do what the original did. I just saw it as, this character has gone through this situation, so it would really only make sense for that character to go through the same thing, but just in a different way. And that's something I thought was very well handled. I really love the way they did that. The cinematography is probably probably the best of the year, honestly. I think the cinematography is beautiful. This movie tied with Mad Max Fury Road for best cinematography of the year, without a doubt, because just like Mad Max Fury Road, most of the effects in this movie are practical. There is CGI here and there, but there are a lot of practical effects. You know, when they're using these guns, they're actually using guns. These sets are actual sets, and I really applaud the movie for doing that. It looks amazing. amazing. I mean, just seeing shots of space was incredible, and I loved it. Really, it was great. It's great to hear John Williams score again. I mean, the second that score came out, the second the movie started, I'm like, give me that score, give me that score. They gave me that score, and I loved it. I was so into it, and one of the best parts of the movie, honestly, is the score. I mean, it puts you in the movie right away. It's one of the best scores of all time, and I'm so glad that they, of course, used it. I mean, you knew they were going to, even the prequels used it, but they really did that very, very well. The editing here, this movie is very quickly edited, but it's not quickly edited where you're gonna miss something. They did a great job with keeping this story at a slow enough pace, but also a fast enough pace. There's no one that's gonna be like, this movie's too slow, or it's too long. Honestly, I didn't even think this movie was 2 hours. I mean, this movie felt like an hour to me. That's how into it I was. Because most of the movie, they're moving so quickly, and they're getting through so much, and there's something big that happens in every scene. There's no filler scenes in this movie. There's no sitting around a room talking about, like, tax returns and things like that, like the prequels did. There's none of that in this movie. This movie, every scene is important, every scene is of interest, and that's something I absolutely love. They really handled that very well. The running time was perfect, and I really loved everything about it. So now, guys, now I want to get to the best, the things I want to talk about the most, the spoilers, and don't watch this review, because I'm going to do some major spoilers here, and if you guys really, obviously, I know a lot of you want to see this movie, and there are a handful of people that I'm sure have not seen this movie, because there were a lot of people in my theater, and when I left, there was a huge line outside, and for all I know, one of that huge line outside, some of them could watch this video, and if they haven't, if you guys have not seen this movie, and or like me, who hasn't seen it yet, who hadn't seen it till today, then don't watch this review, because I really want to talk spoilers, because the spoilers, honestly, are some of the best things about this film. A lot of the twists, everything was genuinely shocking. And let me just tell you guys, I tried to stay as far away from spoilers as possible. I really did. I know people click spoilers and things like that. I mean, there was a kid, really, Star Wars is something that matters a lot to a lot of people. I mean, there was a kid in my school that literally cried over a Star Wars spoiler in class. I'm not kidding you. Someone did that, and I think it really just shows how great of a story Star Wars is, and I did whatever I could to, if I saw a link, I just did not click on it. I didn't click on it, I didn't see anything, because I just didn't want to know anything going into this movie. So, let's talk about what I think is the best twist of this film. The fact that Kylo Ren is actually Ben Solo, I think is a fantastic twist. I love the way this was handled, and it really makes you, I think, understand Kylo Ren a lot more. There's a reason why he has this rage, and there's a reason why he's doing what he's doing. He's turning against the Resistance mainly because they wronged him. He wanted to be with his father, and Luke, obviously, we realized, started training him, but it just didn't really go well for him, and he just went dark, and he was influenced by probably what Luke was saying about Darth Vader. He probably heard about Darth Vader a lot and was influenced by him, which I thought was very interesting, and I really love that, and I think they handled that part of the movie very, very well. But of course, we have to get to what the main plot of this film is. The movie really is about Kylo Ren trying to steal the BB-8 because it's the only thing that will, show Luke's location. It will show where Luke is, or something, that it's the only thing that, the BB-8 is the thing that will lead them to Luke, and he does not want them to go to Luke. He doesn't want them to get to Luke. He wants to destroy the BB-8, and I thought that was overall just really, really interesting stuff. And when you realize that Han and Leia have been apart for this long, they really did a great job making that very unpredictable. I mean, I was suspecting that Han and Leia would still be together, but no, it really does make sense for them to stray apart. I mean, if Luke just got away, it would make sense. Han would go after him, Leia would be worried sick, and the group would ultimately be fractured, and it really worked in that way. I mean, you can see that these are characters that haven't seen each other in years, and what I love about this movie is the weight that we've had for these characters, the same weight that they've had, and I really love that. One of the things I didn't talk about in my review, because I do feel it's a bit of a spoiler, and I think is very interesting, is that these characters don't know if the Force is real, or if the Force Force is something that's actually out there, and that's something I thought was very interesting. Them not knowing if Luke Skywalker is real or not, if he's just a myth, or if he's actually a real person, I really love. And the scene where Han tells him, no, 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 this is all real, I've experienced it, I really loved, and really gave us a sense of, okay, that is why they need to go on this journey. Because all those people, you know, if they don't know that this is real, history is going to repeat itself, because history is destined to repeat itself, and that really did make sense here as to why that's going on. That is why there are tie-ins, because history is repeating itself. That's just life, okay? That's how it works. And I love the way that that was handled. And also, I love the fact that we realized that Kylo Ren doesn't need to wear a mask. He really doesn't. He wears it, I think, mainly because of his influence for Darth Vader. And we get that really pivotal scene with Rey where she basically mind controls him and realizes that he's afraid that he is not going to be as strong as Darth Vader is. And I think one of the things I love about this is that a lot of people were fearful of that this is going to be a villain that just isn't as strong as Darth Vader. What this did for me, at least, is show that Kylo Ren is not just a villain. He's a character that's very important, and a character that I think could very much change into something a lot more than a villain, something a lot more meaningful. Basically be what Darth Vader was, and the fact that he's influenced by Vader, I think is very interesting, and that's the thing that's different with Snoke. You know, what is the thing that influenced Anakin was just hearing about the dark side. It intrigued him. He didn't really know what to, it took him on this dark path. Palpatine made it seem like it was going to be this great thing for him. That really is what it was here. This is different. This is basically Snoke saying you can't go to the light side. You know, Kylo Ren is kind of contemplating whether or not to go to the light side or the dark side. And I found that very, very compelling, and I really love that. And then, of course, we get the pivotal scene between Han and Kylo Ren, which, let me say this, I knew he was a goner. I really did. I mean, when he went to confront Kylo Ren, I'm like, this is not going to end well. There's no way something bad is going to happen. I did not expect Kylo Ren to kill him. I did not expect that to happen. In fact, if I had to pick a character to die in this movie, I was for sure that Chewie was going to be the one to die. I really thought Chewie was going to die in this movie. But I'm glad they didn't kill off Chewie, because killing off Han is just a much bigger and satisfying conclusion to his character. I mean, he died doing what he did best, trying to stop someone. He died as a fighter. He died trying to save his son and just perform one last heroic act and tell his son, you don't need to go down the path that Vader did. You don't need to be a villain. You can be a hero. Don't be afraid of being a hero. Don't listen to what Snoke tells you to do. Listen to us. I can help you. But Kylo Ren doesn't want to do that. I think he's kind of scared of going to the light side because he's created this dark side, and that's kind of where he is, and I think it just makes him a very more compelling character, and he didn't want to go the light side. He really didn't, because he doesn't really know what that's going to do for him, and if that's the best path for him, and I really loved seeing that, and I thought that was very well handled. I love that, and they really handled that very, very well. The movie also had such intense scenes. I mean, there were so many intense scenes in the film. I really love that. Let's talk about Finn, who, the thing I didn't want to say about Finn that I am going to say that I didn't want to say before is, of course, that Finn, as we know, basically quits, being a stormtrooper because of the fact that they kill. They kill now, and they basically are there to murder, civilians, murder people that are innocent, and he doesn't want a part of that, and I really thought that made his character very compelling, and I really love the way that that was handled. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about the thing with them destroying, the, Starkiller base, them destroying Starkiller base. I really thought it made sense here. I mean, what is the thing that's keeping Kylo Ren from going, from possibly turning into a hero is Starkiller base. Killing Starkiller, destroying Starkiller base really throws a wrench into Kylo Ren's plan. I thought that was very smart the way they handled that. Also, the fight scene between Kylo Ren, and Finn was just so well handled. I love the way that was done. It was just perfect. I loved it. I love that they didn't kill off Finn. I was worried they were going to, and I'm like, please don't kill off Finn. He's an awesome character, and I'm happy that they decided not to do that. Very good ending. The fact that R2-D2 awakens. A lot of people have had this theory about Rey, and I'm pretty sure it's true. I know you guys might be like, no shit, but I think the reason that he awakened is because Rey is the true chosen one. I mean, we all know that Anakin was supposed to be the chosen one and he wasn't, and I think Rey is that true chosen one. I mean, they even said in the movie, Rey is more powerful than Kylo Ren. If she's more powerful than Kylo Ren, she most likely is the chosen one, and I really think that Rey is that chosen one, and I think they're really going to explore that further in the other films, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next film, of course, between her and, Luke, because obviously we know that she is about to give the lightsaber to Luke, and then the movie ends, and it ended perfectly the right point. Literally, there I'm like, please end, and luckily it ended because that was the perfect time for it to end. I love it they did that. And you guys may be like, well, why aren't you complaining about the characters that weren't seen a lot, like Captain Phasma? Why didn't I complain about Captain Phasma? Mainly because of the fact that this is the first film. There are going to be 2 more films. We can get more Captain Phasma in the other movies. We didn't need all this stuff with her, and I definitely really love seeing that. I think they really handled that all very, very well. So, overall, guys, I loved everything about Star Wars Force Awakens. I think it's a fantastic film, right below Empire, in my opinion. It's Empire, Force Awakens, you know, original. That's kind of how I see it. I loved everything about this movie. It had such compelling characters that had a very fun story in general. I found to be a very compelling story and really put the series in a lot of interesting directions. I really don't know what's going to happen in the next movie, and I'm very happy with that. I don't want to know what's going to happen. I do feel it's going to be as balls to the walls of this movie, if not crazier. I mean, I was surprised by how crazy this movie really was, but I definitely really loved it. I think it's a great movie overall. Definitely a masterpiece, and I'm definitely going to give Star Wars Force Awakens a 5 out of 5 or an A+. Right when this movie ended, I literally said, I want to see this again. I'm seeing this at least 2 more times, guys. I honestly am. I will see it 2 more times. I don't care. One of the best theater experiences I've ever had. Everyone was clapping throughout this entire movie. I'm so happy that they were clapping so much because I was worried someone's not going to clap. They were clapping at literally everything. Like, the Millennium Falcon showed up, they clapped. C-3PO appeared, they clapped. Leia showed up, they clapped. Han showed up, they clapped. And I love that. I loved seeing that support that people have for this movie. The fact that people love something so much, I just love seeing it. It's awesome to watch, and I love that. But overall, guys, let me know what you guys saw of Star Wars Force Awakens. Obviously, an incredible movie. I can't wait to watch it again. It will for sure be my top 10. I mean, without a doubt, it will definitely be. I absolutely loved everything about this movie. And I will see you guys in my next video. Let me know what you guys saw of this movie, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for another movie review, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.